Hunter Biden, the president's son, or the presidential candidate's son at that point, his laptop computer had been left at a repair shop. The repair owner sent it to the FBI. The FBI verified that the files on the computer were actually Hunter's, and the files, what I call a laptop 51 case, was a situation in which two prominent former intelligence officers, so Michael Morrell, who I mentioned, and Mark Polymeropoulos, who was a senior operations officer, were apparently approached by a Biden campaign officer who said, in this case, Antony Blinken, now the Secretary of State. So according to Morrell's testimony to the House Judiciary Committee in the spring of 2023, that's what I'm about to tell you, Blinken said, we need help, intelligence help. Remember the press had built up the credibility of intelligence officers. These people know everything about everything and can be believed, from in your heart of hearts. So these people now have credibility. Blinken says, we need help. We need help with this problem. The problem was that Hunter Biden, the president's son, or the presidential candidate's son at that point, his laptop computer had been left at a repair shop. The repair owner sent it to the FBI. The FBI verified that the files on the computer were actually Hunter's, and the files gave credible support to a hypothesis, at least, that both Hunter and his father, Joe, were corrupt in terms of taking money, basically influence peddling with Ukraine, with China, and maybe some other countries. All right, so the campaign now says this is a potential October surprise, a killer. We cannot have this come out and damage the purported integrity of candidate Joe Biden. So Blinken says we need intelligence help. We need to deflect this story in a way that would exonerate the president and not damage his election prospects. Okay, so Morrell and Polymeropoulos write up a short little letter that says this laptop story has all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. So as we talked earlier on, the Russians have done all sorts of disinformation kinds of things, including forgeries and so on. So you're using the credibility that these people had built up over time, courtesy of the press, to say it looks like this might be a Russian operation. Have nothing to do with Hunter, nothing to do with Joe. Okay, so they were very careful in writing this. If you examine this letter, and it's online, anybody can find it. It does not say explicitly that this was Russian disinformation. It says it sort of looks like it, has all the hallmarks. Okay, so they knew very well that was, not the point of this letter. They knew the point of the letter was to help Joe Biden. In your opinion, did it have all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation? Probably. Well, I mean, it's conceivable, but it's not likely. I mean, we know that there are. We know the Russians do cyber operations, but we also know now, not at the time, but we know now that the FBI had already checked the computer, and it already determined that this surely did look like real. Their cyber forensic people had already determined that this was legitimate Hunter Biden material. And that's not been challenged at this point. So you're trying to mislead voters using intelligence credentials as a rationale for it, knowing full well that the Russians were not behind it. Okay, so these two go to number of former intelligence officers and ask for their signatures on this open letter. So back up a step, among the many things that the press had done over the previous 4 years had been to publish a series of open letters. Open letters. They usually were published in Politico, a politically oriented newspaper based in Washington, and then were spread to the other mainline press organizations. And that's the way it worked this time here too. So you get this short letter. It sort of looks like the Russians were in it. You get 51 former intelligence officers to sign it. You look at that list, a lot of senior people, there were like half a dozen, 5, I think, former CIA officials, a lot of very senior people. So this is a credible group of people, right? So you're a voter, gee whiz, these really sharp people are saying it looks like Russians. So I'm not going to worry about Joe Biden. Okay, so how do we know that this was basically a sham? Basically, this was a political operation. It was an information operation by Morell and Polymeropoulos. Well, Morell told the House Judiciary Committee that, and I can tell you, not commonly published thus far anyway, that one of the people who was approached told me that the pitch received specifically was, we want your signature to help Joe Biden. Not for your intelligence expertise.
Man.
So the pitch was explicitly political. Okay, so now Morell has had his credibility shot, I think, pretty clearly. He's now out of the partisan limelight, at least for the moment. He does have his own podcast, which is credible, and he's staying out of partisan politics. So I have no grievance against what he's doing on a day-to-day basis here in 2024. But he was the epitome. This I think was an epitome, now well documented, of what was wrong with political activism by former intelligence officers. Once again,
let me he's doing today is credible.
Pardon me?
Did you say what he's doing today is credible?
In the sense that he's doing credible podcasts. He's doing things about intelligence that are not domestically partisan in nature.
Do you think he's building that to?
Well, he might. He might. My guess is he's still got a number of years to live. He hopes he's trying to do something that's reasonable and is within his area of expertise. And I guarantee you that if he begins to be partisan again, then there are people who will go after him. So he probably knows that at this point.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.